What's going on, everybody? Hope you are having a wonderful week so far. Before we get into the podcast, please hit subscribe. Please give us a review at the end of it. If you enjoy it, it keeps the podcast going. I really appreciate it. So, podcast time. This man has been on my podcast the most now, and it is the one and only Born Dirty. Born Dirty is one of my favourite people in the world. I've known him for years now, and yeah, we've just become extremely close friends over the years, and I love his music that he makes. I love him as a human being. He's hands down one of the most talented people I know, and we just always have the best conversations, so I thought I'd just get him on the podcast again. So without further ado, Born Dirty. Mr. Born Dirty. How are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm great.
Is that a Pringle?
I should now.
Is that a Pringle?
No, well, it's a healthy one.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah, you're going to hate me for that. Yeah,
Fucking...
it's gluten.
Oh, fuck off. That's not even a crisp.
It's actually really good. I think the first time I had them, I hated them, and then
it's because you were French then.
Basically, they've been like drying on the shelf, and then I just put them out. I was like, actually, they're pretty good, so I'm gonna eat that. But I'm good.
It's because the first time you ate it, you were more French, and then as it's got older and older in the cupboard, you've turned more and more LA.
No, man. No. Well,
you'll be eating gluten-free croissants soon.
Never. I mean, what do you know about croissant, man? The shit you sent me.
I know more about croissants than you know about croissants.
Like, basically, hey, Mika, look at this amazing croissant, and then you go on YouTube, and it's all about fucking
pain au chocolat. Yeah, but the thing is, I do it just to annoy you, and it annoys you every time.
It does. Less than before because of yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's this yoga been treating you?
You know, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have believed that I would have ever said that, but it's game changer, man. It really is for me.
All this exercise, and now you've got bronchitis.
One time at yoga, boom, ill.
Oh, I love it so much.
No, but no, it's been great. It's mad because I've tried yoga over the years, so many times over the decades. You know, it's never really connected with it. But yeah. I think the hot yoga that I'm doing here, you know, it's like. Was it like 40, 45 degrees in there? It's fucking ridiculous. But like I was telling you before, it's not. I went to a class this week, and it was chill. It was like a more chill kind of, and that doesn't really work for me. Like the moment I have to exercise and think, the moment the exercise allows me to think about my day. Yeah. I can't do it. It's just not the things I need. I need things that just like disconnect me and need my full focus. And the other yoga that I did, they call sculpts, and so I love that shit. It's like army style. Yeah, you get in there, and it's like 55 minutes nonstop, go. Like you come out of that, and you know. Equally beat up, but also feel amazing. You know, that's a good workout for me. I agree. It's the closest in that bullshit fucking workout we've done years ago and killed me for 2 weeks. But that every time my legs hurt, I think of that. There's like a trauma connected to my legs and to my brain from that session we've had.
You like, bring that up every time as well.
Listen, it is insane. But yeah, no, this is good. Look, you know, I need the type of person. Everybody needs exercise, but the type of person I am, I I need to release all that energy somewhere, you know? Like,
is it energy that you're releasing, or is it just you're changing your state of mind?
it's both, definitely.
Yeah.
It is a release of energy, like everything that you accumulate, whether it's stress, whatever form of stress it is, or whatever energy that just builds up when you go out there and you just kind of let it out. That feels amazing. The commitment, like, just to go, just to get out of my house, go to the place and do it. Even if I only do 10 minutes, I went there and I did it. And, you don't do 10 minutes, but, the fact that you went, I think that's the win as well. I think
it's the routine for me.
Yeah.
The routine is more mentally than actually doing it to a certain extent. Me going and just doing something is so much more better for my mental being than actually the outcome of the exercise.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like,
like
feeling good is great, but like having a bad day at the gym is nothing like having a bad day in the studio. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
It's weird.
I just think it's like it's connected to, I think for me it includes all of that. I need to, I mean, to be fair, since, we talk every day, since I really got my shit together for exercising.
Yeah.
The climbing, I think, like it triggered okay, let's feel better, let's do more. But that schedule of like, okay, yoga, climbing, exercise at home, rowing, it's being present and go and do the thing. And then feeling good, that's great. But also like, I think the commitment to myself to do it. And also, when I go with Brian climbing, it's like, I'm committed to him in that sense, like, although, I canceled on Monday night and he was pissed, but it's the first time I think I canceled. Let me put my headphones on because I don't know if you're going to get some weird feedback.
You sound great.
Yeah, but in a recording, it's not. You don't think it's gonna?
No, I'd be able to hear it if we're getting weird stuff.
Cool.
And it's coming through really good. It's exercise is a strange one.
Yeah,
because like coming back from Australia, and like the hotels didn't have. There were some hotels that didn't have gyms, and some of them had terrible gyms, and like it was amazing how. Like when I was in Melbourne, the hotel didn't have a gym, and there wasn't like a gym locally. Like I also kind of hate going to spend like $30 for an hour at a gym. Like there's just something about it for me that I'm just like I'd rather not. So I just make myself go for a run. Yeah, and it's just amazing for me, like how that mentally, like waking up early, going out into the cold, running. The thought of it is gross, but then once you're doing it and like halfway through when your heart's just fucking blowing out of your chest and you're gonna shit your pants because you just because you're killing yourself, but then afterwards it's just the best feeling for me. And there's actually no other feeling there's nothing else that can replicate that for me.
It's also there's. When you push yourself, which honestly, I mean, I can put myself in that, but in some extent, but not just you go hard, like you go extremely hard compared to me. Someone else compared to you will go 100 times 100%. Harder than you. There's always that, but there is that feeling of like, it's like a little. You kind of like dying every time a little bit, and then there's this thing like you have to fight that and beat that basically to kind of your body does it on its own. Yeah, that gear that just like goes like you think you're dead, and then there's a gear that just comes like that gear. That's what I'm looking for. Right. It's just like even when I go climbing, I'm like the first half an hour, like I'm fucking dead, like I'm shit, and then suddenly it's like click. There's this gear that comes in, and then. You can go another hour and even better. That's the weird thing. And
what do you think that is? Do you think that's adrenaline or do you think that's ego?
It's a good question. There's definitely chemicals like that takes a second to, I never looked into it, but there's definitely, what is it? Dopamine, adrenaline, like all that stuff just starts to kick in and then you just feel good. That's the thing. It's just like, I don't know about running. I hate running. It's just, I always hated it since I was a kid. And I did a lot of sports. Actually, it's two things. I hate running because it makes me think. And I hate thinking, like when I don't want to. But I can, run on the pit. Like I can play football for like 2 hours and run.
It's different, isn't it? Yeah.
Up, down, and die and just be like, wow, the fuck. But there's a purpose. I've never found the purpose of just running.
Why do you not like thinking?
Huh?
Why do you not like thinking?
Because I think all the time. So when I go to that, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need a break.
Yeah.
Like this is my time to just disconnect and do something else. And then I can't because but it's just, I guess if you put a podcast on or, you put some music on, like that, you have a chance to just disconnect. But it's just, I don't know, running, even though sometimes I do, I have the rowing machine and I do it. And it's basically same thing. Like I still do it because it's here, it's better on my old joints and stuff. But running, every time I run, man, I feel that shit. Like my knees, my fucking like ankles. I mean, my right ankle is still like, I think, I don't know if it's a forever thing, but it looks like it's gonna stay.
It probably will be now. Yeah. It's weird. Like, mate, even I know I'm a bit younger than you, but
barely.
But like, I used to be able to run a lot further, and I can do 5K on the road. And I know at 5K on the road, I am literally like, I'll stop and I'll be limping because it's just like too painful. But I can do like trail running. I can do quite a lot. I can do like 10K trails because it's like on different. It's just not this the hard ground.
It's softer,
hard concrete. It just fucking kills me.
I don't see the. I mean, I did Muay Thai for a while until I couldn't go. I used to go 5 days a week.
Yeah.
5 days a week. It was in 5 every day and weekends off 5 days a week. And you get hurt. Like you come home, there's like it's not like, oh, your muscle hurts or whatever. You got beat up.
Yeah.
And I don't want like whoever listens to that think like, oh, martial arts is like you only get beat up. It's not what it was about. It really wasn't. And it wasn't my teacher was like a fucking genius in what he does, and it was about the art. But point being was more like you still get hurt. Like you exercise, you get hit in the legs and you're limping out the fucking room. Yeah. And then sometimes you wonder, you're like, it's not even that you didn't sign up for that. You kind of did, but it's just like, what's that bringing to me? What's the positive in going home limping? But then, a few days after that, like you go back to the next class and the next class and the next class, and then someone hits you really hard in the leg.
Doesn't hurt.
It doesn't do shit. And you're like, oh my God, what the fuck? Like the body is insane. Like you need to kind of you need to hurt yourself sometimes to kind of like be able to get to the next level, which is such a weird concept. Like, but all the pros do it. For any type of sports.
But I think also in life it's the same, right? In mental, like to a certain level, like not obviously all the levels, but like let's transfer that to music. Like you first release a record or you first sign a record and you think it's the biggest thing of your life, and it is at that time in your life, and the record does shit. And then you try and sign a record to like your dream artist label and they turn it down or they don't respond to you. Like each time you kind of get hurt a little bit and you kind of grow from that and realize that, oh, actually it's not the end of the world and I can actually cope with dealing with that. And it just keeps snowballing. It's the same kind of thing as exercise.
That's interesting, but that's because that's the kind of person you are in that sense, or because not, I wouldn't say the kind of person you are, but in the sense of like you've done the work beside the music thing. You've done the work mentally. You got great teachers.
Yeah.
You know, to understand what's going on, to give you the tools to be able to be like, oh fuck, like, you know, I really wish that, but it doesn't matter. There's the next thing, and let's keep going. Blah blah blah. You know, when you don't have these tools, sometimes to see the, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel can be fucking impossible because you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the only difference. I think it's just like, surely we should all be able to do that. We should all be able to, like, you know, get up. Personally, I always get up and redo, you know, but also it took me years to get the tools to get up way faster and understand that it's okay. Like, you know.
Yeah. It's rejection generally is a strange thing to deal with, right? And I think it's
a lot of ego.
Yeah, but I also think it's something that we all have to do. Everyone deals with rejection at some point in their life. Like, whether that's not getting a job, whether that's not getting a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, like whatever that rejection is, we all get rejected at some point.
Yeah.
And we all deal with it differently, I guess. How do you deal with it?
I mean, I take it because now I have some tools to figure it out. But I always take it back to when, you know, you are a kid, because it, you know, without like being, you know, trying to be a therapist or whatever, because we're not, but, you know, it's like the tools that you get from a therapy or books or research that you've done, or friends or family that have the tools to share. I think it starts from when you are a kid, you know, the rejections that you get when you're a kid. If no one's here to tell you, yo, it's okay, like, honestly, you can, and also you can cry. It's okay. You don't have to be, you know, when you're a kid, the amount of time you hear like, don't cry, like, no, cry out, like, let it out. And also, like, you know, this is just a tiny, like, this is a speck of nothing, like, compared to the things that's coming after that. Like, it's okay, just let that go. And if you feel that way, it's okay. Like, look at how you feel and learn from that and keep moving. But if you don't know any of that, as you grow up and grow up and grow up, you bring all that baggage with you as an adult, and you act like a kid.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I act like a kid every fucking day, but the difference is today I have the chance to realize that and then, you know, make the difference. So, it's, you know, when I get rejected, like, today, like, it never feels good, but I have like the capacity today to just be like, you know what, it's nothing. And it reminds me of like the Big Lebowski. Have you ever seen it?
I've never seen it. No, I need to see it.
It's your opinion, man. It's like, it's just like, it's just, it reminds, dude, the Big Lebowski is, you know, top. I can easily, and anyone can fight me. And I don't think anyone would fight me about that. It's top 3 comedy of all time.
I've never seen it. I need to see it.
Top 3 of all time. Like, no one will fight you about that. It's just incredible. But anyway, I can't remember if this is just your opinion, dude, or man, or whatever. But it always makes me think of that. Like, now, like, you know, you get rejected and you're like, well, it's just your opinion. You know, you don't like it, you know, whatever. I also have my output, like, I've created my label, boom, boom, boom. If no one wants anything, boom, I can release it. You know, you talk to artists, you know, we let's just keep it in a realm of music, but you talk to younger artists or other artists that don't even know, they don't have the knowledge of, like, oh, you know, creating a label is so easy. It's like, can create a label in 5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. Socials, bam. You get a distributor for like close to fucking nothing. Yeah. And your music's out there. So many people don't know that, you know? And so you stay with all that music and all that things and all the, you know, and you just don't know because you got rejected by this. Because your music might be good, but you might not have the socials because maybe, you know, these labels only want to see numbers before they hear the quality. or whatever, whatnot. And then it's just like, honestly, for me today, I like, you know, if someone doesn't want the track, hey, like I've sent it to a few people. If they don't want it, I'm releasing it because I love the tune. And equally, as much as we love and we want these songs to do well, it's beside getting signed. Because once you get signed and the song comes out, then you get the shit numbers. And that also is like, but what is a shit number? Like, there's always
this is the weird thing about shit numbers, because
you know it's the same thing I was telling you about. Like you go harder than me, like on this thing, and then someone's gonna go harder than you.
Yeah,
numbers is the same thing for me. I'm not gonna mention numbers because it's bullshit. But like for me, this number is like equal success, you know. But for someone else, it's just like 100 times less than that.
Yeah.
Or 10 times, or, you know, and for someone else, it's like 1,000,000 times more than that. If someone gets my numbers, they'll be like, okay, my career is shit, you know? Which
like,
is,
It's really funny because it's like also those numbers change as your career changes.
Yeah.
And I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, like my numbers changed from the day of before starting my record label to starting my record label, and to then also having records after that. Like it changes. And one of my friends, she just recently released like her first ever record, like as a pop singer, kind of signed to like a sister label from a major, and her first record did like 250,000 streams, and she was like pissed about it. And I'm like, your first record ever released in the world, no one knows who you are, you have like 2,000 followers on Instagram, and you've done 250,000 streams. I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
It is.
Like, let's just say even that's 50,000 people have listened to your record like 4 times. That's insane.
It is.
Like 50 if you put those numbers in, like, yes, I know all those 50,000 people aren't in one place, but like if you put all those 50,000 people in one place, that's a fucking stadium.
I know. We always think about that, right? It's just like these numbers. Hey, it's 250,000 plays. It's incredible. It's like these numbers are nuts. But if you you're a pop singer, whatever, you're a pop in a sense of like, okay, this is what you listen to. Your peers are pop singers.
Yeah.
You're constantly on Spotify listening to your peers, and then they all have billions. Billions. Hundreds of millions, and then you do 250,000. You keep comparing yourself to that. Firstly, it's a losing battle. And from what I've learned, it's a losing battle, and also it's really the wrong war.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you trying to trying to get these numbers and be these numbers is not really what you should be making music in the first place.
Well, I think that's the thing is like, let's just use us for example, right? We release a record on the same day. Okay. Your record does better than mine. Why would I be pissed that your record, like, I'm not pissed at you, but why would I be pissed? Because realistically, like, I'm doing my career and you're doing your career.
Yeah, of course.
And it's two completely separate things. It's two completely separate records. It's two completely separate opinions. And it's like, it goes back to that comparison is a thief of joy, because it is so easy to compare nowadays, because we see numbers everywhere. We see, and like we all talk about our numbers because it's the thing that we kind of have to do to a certain extent, right? Like if somebody sells out a record, the first thing they're going to do is fucking Instagram it. Like if somebody's hit 1 million streams, that's the first thing they're going to do is Instagram about it.
Yeah.
Like, which
is cool though. I 1 million streamed or 250. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop you, but do you know what I mean? 10,000 streams. If you feel that you've it's a win,
talk about it.
Share it. Be proud of it, and that's okay.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Whether it's for the clout or it's just, there's a bit of clout and there's definitely ego, clout, and all that, but it's also, it's okay to be proud of fucking yourself. The things we work hard for.
No one else is fucking saying it.
No one else is gonna say it if you don't.
Apart from your mum, or someone. Exactly. If you got a mum that's like, and that's only if you got a mum that actually gives a fuck. But like, let's be honest, it's like there's nobody else in this industry, in this world, that's gonna look at your numbers and go, "Oh, well done, Mika. Well done, Will." Like, because it's always like, what's next? What's next? What's next? How do we do that? How do we do that?
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because it is just, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. We can always break it down back to like, it is what it is. But at the same time, there is something wrong with that, to my opinion. There is something wrong with, I'm sure, I can't remember all the podcasts and all the millions of chats we've had. There's always that thing of like, it's like that microwave shit. Like, I feel like the way we make music and people just consume so fast. It's just microwave shit. That's how I've been, calling it. So you can have microwave, music, and then people can treat it just like that. And it's just like, oh, it's just the next thing. Let's get the next meal. Let's get the next thing. There's never this thing of like, dude, holy shit, you have worked so hard on that. You've taken time. You have learned your craft. Like, you've really went all the way in. You made yourself come out, of your shell, of your studio, you're all the way. That journey is incredible. Whether it's one song or 100 songs you've done. No one celebrates that. No one celebrates that space. It's just like, it's not even like the start. It's just like, really, it's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, great. Is it doing well? Yeah, great. Oh, you're doing awesome. It's doing great. It's not doing well. Where's the next track?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just like, yo, hey, I'm not downloading some fucking, tech out splice, fucking, I don't puzzle the music. We writing.
Maybe we should.
Trust me. Don't even. Don't even.
No, like, I think I also, where do you think this has come from? Because it's not always been like this. I remember, and I will sound like a broken record, but like, I remember back when I used to buy albums or I'd make a CD for my car and I would listen to it over and over and over and over again. There's so many albums I bought when I was younger and listened to it over and over again and really just like appreciated that one album.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore, really, personally, just on how we consume music. Or consume.
I don't know. Are you talking about you, or do you think people? Are you talking about in general?
I'm talking about in general because I think.
I don't know.
But I guess the only reason why I say that is because what you just said is like it's on to the next thing or it's doing well. It's like, did that happen before? I don't really know though.
No, I think the thing is, I reckon the moment we had access through the internet to millions of everything, just, like that, whether it was like LimeWire and onwards, like it was just, look, it's that thing. Christmas. All right. And then you're a kid and look, you can only have one present and you only get one and you're going to fucking cherish that present.
Yeah.
You're gonna open it. It's gonna be a thing. You're gonna keep it for it's that thing. And then you have these Christmas where it's hundreds of fucking presents, and you see the kids, they open it and just throw it on the side. And the next one, they throw. It's the same thing. It's the same concept. Like, the more we get, like you go to a buffet, you're like, oh man, like I'm not just gonna eat this thing. I'm just gonna fucking like eat everything. I'm not even gonna finish my plate because I'm gonna eat this next thing as well because it's free because I can get it. It's all connected to the same thing. We just consume. We're like humans just want to consume.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we do. And then we had access to all that music at once suddenly for free. Before, same, I sound like a broken record too. Like I had to work to listen to music. Sure, it was on radio and it's free, and MTV, it was free if you had a TV and things like that. But you know, if I wanted an album, which I did, and I wanted all the music that I wanted, I had to work. Oh, and I had to make some money, go to the store, buy it, and then that was mine. And that meant something more than just the music. That meant that I had to spend time to get that, you know? And the difference is, and you know, I don't prefer before or after, you know, for a long time, I've disconnected from that. Today is today, and I love how fast I can get shit too. I don't want to sound like, you know, I love going on Spotify and just be like, oh my fucking God. Like every time I open Spotify, I'm like, this is endless.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, no, it's not endless. There's a beginning and an end of the amount of music they have on that, but still.
You're not going to get through it in your lifetime.
No, you won't.
Yeah.
And the amount of music I discover because of Spotify, it's been, like, for me, it's been incredible. Like, it's just, before I used to dig and dig and dig, and you find things, you know, you go to, you know, wherever, you get to just those you want to, and, you know, maybe you'll get that one. But now, like, look, I love, like African music, traditional stuff, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can go on Spotify and discover, like, this realm of music that, you know, that has, like, 1,000 plays and, you know, 500 plays, and these tunes are fucking incredible and blah, blah, blah. And some have more than that, but that I love. But I think because of my background, I still cherish the music the way I consume it.
Yeah.
If you just were, you know, thrown into that from the get-go and you can just get everything you want all the time, then, you know, it's a different approach. But the people, I mean, it's the other question is like, why do we even care of what people, and I don't mean the consumers, I mean like the industry, you know, like why do we even care how people judge what we do musically, the journey? Why do I need you to tell me I did a good job? That's the real question, because really, technically, I shouldn't.
I guess I guess if you look at it, there's two ways to look at it, right? Whether it's one on a business side of things, or the other on a emotional side of things. Yeah. Because I guess talking business is, you want the people at the top to like your music, because then they support it, and then financially it becomes more lucrative for you.
Yeah.
On the emotional side of it, it's like, yeah, realistically, it's just an ego thing. Like, for me, the music that I've been writing recently, I know has been less DJ friendly.
Yeah.
And I know less DJs will be playing my current records that I'm writing or releasing. And that's something I just know, because it's not what I was writing beforehand, and it's much more vocal based, and it's just not necessarily always club friendly. It is music that's made for a certain time of the night or a certain show or whatever. And I understand that DJs aren't going to play that. So me releasing these records, I know that I'm not going to get the DJ response that I would have beforehand. Doesn't mean that DJs don't like the records. Just means it just doesn't fit that.
Also, it doesn't mean like you're not going to do an edit of it for your shows, or or you're just not going to play it at your shows, and that's just for two different purposes, and that's fine.
Or that is the only time people get to hear it live, is at my show, because I get to play it.
Yeah,
but I think that it took me so long, like, to get that kind of ego of why aren't DJs playing my records, or I wish people would play my records. It took me so long to get that out of my head.
Yeah,
it was like,
it's hard.
It was
It's
such
hard.
it was such a thing that I would value success on.
Yeah.
And I know people play my records. I know people play your records.
Yeah.
The fact that somebody's playing your record, unless someone's filming it and is willing to put it on Instagram and it blows up, it does fuck all for us, really.
It doesn't exist.
But
Yeah.
I think as a DJ, is we look up to our peers, and if we see somebody playing our records, yeah, that is somebody going, well done, Mika, you did a good job there. Well done, Will, you did a good job there. It's pat on your back. That's for me is my way of getting recognition. Oh, Carl Cox played my record. Laurent Garnier played my record. Like shit like that. Like those are the things where realistically, actually, in the grand scheme of life, and if I told anybody about that, they'd be like, cool. Like didn't give a fuck. But like for us, it's like, wow. Like
no, it's insane. Yeah. No, it's funny you mentioned Laurent, because I think about it's that kind of like almost that, I wouldn't say that number one thing, but it's out there. Like for me, if I send the music to him and he gets back to me and he's like in detail, like why he fucking loves it or don't, like I'm like, what comes after that?
Yeah.
I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like if he gets it, that's because I've written it for people like him. Yeah. Like, and it's just, we went to see these guys. Like I was like a fucking kid. Like I always remember like just being a kid and just going to see Laurent Garnier and just being like, oh, this dude is, what the fuck? And then to know that now they listen to our music and they play our music, it's just, it's surreal. That's like, even like telling you the story, like it makes me feel like,
yeah, man.
And it is the ego, but it's also like the child that is just like, that is just like, did I do well? And, and it's like, yeah, you did well, because even if like you have like the child have an ego, but it's healthy though. You want to know you did something good, and it's important to remind, like I'm very generous with complimenting, friends, family. Like it's a thing. It's just like, yeah, sure, it's an ego thing that I'm like, oh, love this about you, or, oh, you look great today, but sure, you make someone feel good and you make their ego feel good, but holy shit, that's worth a lot though.
So much.
When someone had a shitty day, like a simple little thing. And I think there's a lot of shyness in people to share that kind of like compliment with each other, if that makes sense. That kind of like when, I took another conversation here, but it's also important.
It's all parallel.
It's all parallel. It's that thing. It's like, but it's the paradox and it's the constant fight, because I can go back to like, oh, we don't give a fuck. It is what it is. Like, you like my record, you don't, it is what it is. But if you like it, let me know.
Tell me.
Because that will make little, Mika feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a constant battle, man. It's just like, the more you can detach and you be completely like, it's almost like it's this weird thing. It's like you make music and you detach yourself and then you leave everything behind and your life keeps going without any of that. It's just like, and that's the most healthy, because I used to be fucking hardcore, man, like really fucking hard on myself, on others, on everything. When it comes to music, it's like, and I see the journey and I see where I'm at today, and it feels so much better today.
So much. Explain that in detail, because I'm a bit more confused with that. So what do you mean by that?
Well, like just being a snob.
Okay, yeah.
Start with that. Like just being a fucking snob. Like this is like this and has to be like that. And if you make this type of music, if it doesn't fit this, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like shut up. Like firstly, you sound like someone's just, struggling and hurting.
Old and bitter. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you really need to like detach from that. But it's just also like, it's a tough one. I have grown up in an environment where, the fucking music was insane.
Yeah.
You know, whether I listen to rock, alternative, techno, house, drum and bass, name all the genres I grew up with, hip hop, rap,
Yeah.
everything was fucking insane.
But I think also like to counteract that, like you also grew up at the beginning, not the beginning, but like very close to the beginning of these eras. So it was so new as well.
Yeah. Chips,
fucking cauliflower chips.
Free, baby. Yeah. No, it makes a difference because it was at the rawest form of the music of the genre. It 100%. Was just like just coming out of the cave.
It's so naive as well.
Yeah. Raw, and it was just like, but I don't know, like for rap, for example, or hip hop, that shit was there for, way before already. So it's just not like, I wasn't at the beginning of that. So otherwise I'll have a cane to fucking walk in the studio right now. But it was just like,
give it time,
man. Just the next week.
After hot yoga.
Just like, it's just, I think there was less.
Yeah.
There was less. And then the
devil's advocate, sorry to butt in. Because there was less, did you think it was better quality? Or do you think it was just less to digest?
Yeah, I think like it was probably easier to find the higher quality of music. Yeah. And then again, it's an opinion.
Yeah. Totally.
What I think is dope, you're gonna think is shit, vice versa, whatever, But the saturation today made it harder for people to discover. Yeah, I think all the talents, but then again, before it's I think it moved like equally, and if you calculate the numbers in the sense of like before, sure there was probably less people doing it. But you didn't have the internet. No. You didn't have like the weight. You fucking had to bring your fucking CD to a record label at their shop or at the the office or whatever, and then that alone was just impossible to get discovered. Yeah. Like to get discovered back in the 90s and before. Holy shit, that must have been like such a nightmare.
So hard,
so difficult,
and so like I think in our time. Luck is everything for me personally, to a certain extent. There's a certain level of luck for everything.
Yeah.
Back then, on another level of luck. Like, you listen to that Dr. Dre and Eminem story and how Dr. Dre found Eminem. And you're just like, it was just Jimmy Iovine literally finding a tape in Dr. Dre's garage.
Yeah.
And then putting it in. Like, the magnitude of...
There's two things. It's just like there is luck, and I believe in that. And then there's creating your own luck. And I also very much believe in that. And that means, sure, Eminem, one of the greatest of all time.
Ever, yeah.
Genius of, beyond just rap and hip hop, I would say. He's just, out there.
Just a culture.
Just culture, just as an artist, as just what he's done. Could have completely just been missed by just this much, maybe. But we'll never know. But also, I'm like, but would he though? Because he was so fucking good, and he was already creating his own luck, and he was already doing his own thing, and he was already the best in Detroit, and he was already killing everybody, and he was already da-da-da. That was always going to happen. He was already creating his own luck. It was already happening. But you
never know,
life.
Yeah.
Even though then there's life. Maybe he would have done it for another 2 years and be so broke.
Exactly.
Then he would have just got a job and another job to pay the bills, and then that's that.
What ifs are amazing.
The what?
What ifs are amazing.
Yeah, the what ifs.
But I guess also comparing those artists now that were around, that came out then, like realistically, if we're talking numbers and success through numbers, their numbers are nothing compared to what they used to be. And then you question, if they came out now, would it be as successful as it was back then? Because now there's more to digest and more to listen to.
Well, it's hard to know. It's hard to know what an Eminem would be today because everyone's copied him.
Exactly.
These artists are so big and they created so much culture and sound and influence. It's hard to know it's impossible to even. It's almost like a broken. You can't say, oh, if Eminem. Well, yeah, I guess if he came on the scene today and his style never happened and no one's ever been. Yeah, he would still be.
Do you think?
Big.
Do you think? I guess. Yeah, I guess.
Because he's a fucking alien.
Yeah.
And look, I talk about Eminem like I'm like a ginormous fan.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm
not. I love these, some of his tunes, fucking, but I always, looked and Jesus Christ, like, wow. You know what I mean? But do I sit and listen to Eminem's album? I have never.
Yeah.
I have never. I love some of the tunes, but some just really annoys me. Like, this is like, I'm not going to mimic Eminem, but you know what I mean? Like, he I was more like Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and that kind of like, I love the technical shit, but I can only listen to that a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the thing. But
I guess thinking about it, I'm not comparing them because I don't think they compare at all, but like the modern day version of that is Drake, where he came out at a time when streaming was streaming and did something a little, I don't know if he did necessarily anything different, but he had his own thing. And look where he's at now. So I guess, in answer to that, they would be just as successful.
I think, it could be. Drake doesn't sound like Eminem in any way, but for example, I feel like fucking oh my God, I'm blanking out. What's his name? It's like, it's not Kanye.
Jay-Z.
No. Oh my God, that is insane. Like I absolutely blanked out. One of the greatest rapper of all time today, from LA.
Oh
my God.
Fuck. I've got his album downloaded. 1 second.
He is I can hear partly how he might have been influenced by Eminem, and I've never read the articles of him. Maybe he's already said it, but
Kendrick
Lamar, yeah. Sorry, dude. Talking to me before 1 p.m. is not a good idea.
I know, you just woke up 10 minutes ago.
It's just like, no, but I can feel how, Kendrick is like a modern.
Yeah, you're right.
Kendrick is more than that, I would even say, without going too deep into it. But it's just like, he is an alien musically to me. It's just like, I hear his music, and technically, he is as technical as Eminem. Because I think most of us listen to either Kendrick or Eminem or technical rappers like that, and we're like, oh my God, so insane. And maybe you go a little bit further and you really hear how insane they are, but compare the math of the things they do. But then you have a few people, a handful, that really understand how on another universe they are on the writing side of things. Like, it's just they do shit that only they know what they've done, and there's people on YouTube, I'll send it to you. There's people on YouTube breaking down some of Kendrick's like lyrics and phrases and numbers of things, the way you're just sit down and you're like, this is like, what's that show? It's like Ancient Aliens or some shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you've ever seen that show.
No, I've heard of it though.
Yeah, no, but it's like super cheesy, and it's just like, and there were in the year, and it's the same thing, like breaking down like Kendrick's like lyrics
Yeah.
He said 9 here and 9 numbers later, it's this thing there, and then boom, boom, boom. And you start looking at the thing, it's actually, it's real.
So
they go deep, man.
So there's a podcast called Dissect on Spotify. I don't know if you've listened to it.
I haven't.
Mate. So before I listened to this podcast, I didn't like Kendrick at all. Like there was something with the way he rapped would just really do my fucking head in because it wasn't always on time. And I'm really? Like, yeah, it was always like, not always, but in a lot of his records, he would kind of go out of time and like it would just be super swung and like just super like out there.
Because you're very Berlin. You struggle if it's not on the.
Mate, I buy drum machines from Russia. Like
it's not quantized. You're like, this is not for me, bro.
And I then listened to this podcast, and what it does, it goes into real depth on certain people's albums, and it goes through every single record, what the record's about, how it was produced, where the samples were from. And yeah, after listening to that podcast, I then went and listened again and was just like, okay, well, I get it now. And it took somebody to kind of explain it and explain everything behind the records and then go like I genuinely did research on him because I didn't really get the hype. And it took me like that podcast, it took me in a couple of interviews with Zane Lowe. It took me a couple of interviews on YouTube to be like, okay, I really get it now. And like, because I'm not from fucking LA, I'm not from Compton. I don't get all of what he's also talking about and rapping about. It's a completely different culture to me. But then the technical side of it, I was like, okay, wow, this is really special. And he is a genius, which then makes sense why Eminem signed him.
Yeah. Listen, he's out there.
Who do you think in the electronic world is that?
Aphex Twin.
Yeah.
Chemical Brothers. I mean, it's if you ask me today, I don't know because I'm not knowledgeable enough today. I used to dig a lot more than I am today. I used to listen to a lot more electronic music than I am today. And so that makes a difference. Like, who do you think today is like a genius like that?
For me, like Maceo Plex for me is somebody that
But Maceo is still, I would consider him, he is completely here today, but I mean, I'm saying like the newer generation.
Like new, I guess I would. I don't know because I don't. It goes back to what we were saying. I don't think artists are writing records. No, this is massively wrong, what I'm going to say, but this is just my experience. In the scene that I'm in, that we're in, I don't feel like artists are writing records to be consumed in a way that we used to consume records that I would be like, wow, this is insane. Like a Kendrick album, like a Chemical Brothers album, like a Faithless album, like an Aphex Twin album, like where I would listen to something all the way through from start to finish and understand it. Like I thought when like early Dirty Bird, I honestly thought they were like Justin Martin for me personally is a fucking genius producer. Yeah. Like I've been in the studio with him. I listened to his records and I'm like, I could never do that. Like there's certain artists that I couldn't be like, okay, yeah, I could make that record. And then there's certain artists that I'm like, nah, there's just no way in earth. Just because I don't know how their brains work. And I've been in the studio with Justin and his brain just works in the most weirdest way, which then allows him to create the music that he creates. Yeah. So I don't know who that is nowadays. There's definitely people out there. I'm just not consuming. It's the same. I'm not consuming the music in the same way. And I think I'm also glad I'm not, to a certain extent, because I think it would take it away from what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's the same thing with me. Before Spotify, for a solid, I'd say 6 years, if not more, I've stopped listening to music.
Yeah. What, listening to music at all?
At all.
Yeah.
I had like a gap in my life where I was not listening to music. I was only focusing on writing it. And, sure, I'll probably hear a thing here and a thing there.
Yeah.
But it was pretty insane because I didn't want to be influenced by anything. I just wanted to make what comes out of me you're always influenced by something, but outside of music, I mean, I didn't want to be influenced by music. I wanted to be influenced by other things. And then I've missed on so much shit, like some, insane stuff during that time. But today I listen to some stuff, but I don't when I start a track, I don't listen, I don't like going like, oh, let's make a track like this, or let's make a track like that, or let's, it's not really the thing I do, but it's good to be able to. It's good to, I think sometimes to have a direction and to feel like, oh, let's make something. And I think there's a difference between let's make something just like that and let's make something that is in the same feel of that. It's two separate things. And also, to be fair, you'll be always like, oh, even if in my head I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make like a club banger, or I'm gonna make this, or I'm gonna make something super chill, and then I start making it. It's got nothing to do with anything I thought I was gonna make. Totally. Nothing. It's completely on the other side.
It just starts that feeler in my brain, in your brain. I think when I'm writing with other people, when I'm in a session and I'm kind of like directing the session, I'm like, okay, guys, like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this record? What do you think about this Born Dirty record? What do you think about this Jax Jones record? What do you think about this? Like, what's kind of tasting your fancy right now? That's how I direct a studio session. But when it's for me, like, I haven't sat in the studio and just tried to write a record in a very long time by myself.
Do you want to answer a text, maybe?
Sorry?
Do you want to answer a text? I thought you were playing with your phone.
No, I'm not playing with my phone. Fucking hell, Mum. Jesus. Yeah.
It's like the sugar is in the cupboard on the left.
No, I play with these little foil things.
Sweet.
Yeah, like I don't think, I can't remember the last time I sat in the studio and had a blank slate and just was like, let's go.
Oh, really?
Mate, honestly, I don't. This year, I definitely haven't.
Well, what do you mean? Like, you don't start from... Explain that, because what do you mean?
Like, everything that I'm working on at the moment starts from a writing session that I've done with vocalists, where we've written something and then I'm going to I'm going to go and flip it in the studio, or I've started a collab with somebody and I'm just going to finish that.
Yeah.
It's never been like me sat down in the studio twiddling my thumbs and going, what the fuck am I going to make today? Yeah. And it's thinking about that's actually wild that I haven't done that this year, but I really haven't.
That's mad.
Yeah. But I also went through a stage of like, well, I know you know this, but like, I'm just not wanting to write. I think after COVID, like, I just didn't want to write club records. Didn't want to write. Like, I was like, I don't know what to write, because I wrote so much during COVID. I was like, I don't have anything else to write in me. I don't. There's nothing that's giving me that in, like, what's the word?
Inspired.
And inspiration.
Yeah.
And it was literally today I went on Beatport, because I went on Beatport last weekend, And I was talking to Ryan, and I was like, oh, man, this is a struggle. Like, I just couldn't find anything that great.
Yeah.
And I dug a bit, and then today I went on there and dug deep and found some sick shit. And it was it's only been today that I'm like, oh, I want to write some club stuff.
I've had the same thing forever.
Yeah.
And there's a new section. I don't know when they added it. There's a new genre they added. I don't know if I can look while I'm talking to you.
Is it called trance?
No disrespect to people who love trance, but I fucking hate it. Which one is it?
Mate, the ARP you sent me the other day was the most trance ARP I've ever heard in my life, and you put that in a record. Come on.
No.
Come on.
That's not what I consider.
Armin van Buuren put that in a record at one point in his life.
I love ARPs. Like, that's it. Like, I love ARPs. But does that mean I fucking love... I wonder if I think it's called bass and club. It's bass / club. And it's basically all the shit they don't know where to put it. They put it in this. Like, you know, all the UK shit that is just like... I mean, look, like the top 10... It's Fred again, Jamie XX, Joy Orbison.
Oh, yeah.
Pearson Sound, etc., right? It just keeps like... And so I was listening to that.
Was it good?
Yeah. I found a lot of tunes to actually play in my set in there, which is not... Some of them are not even bass. They're just hybrid. They don't know what the fuck to call that, and then it goes in there. But come back to ARPs. I fucking love ARPs. And trance, it's not one sound. And also I love trance. I love the idea of trance music. I like the old, like, I don't like electronic trance music.
Yeah.
I like chants, like, you know, being around fire and then everybody's singing the same thing and you get into a trance. I love that shit. But I don't like the fucking pads. I love pads too, but I don't like it when it's like I don't even know how to break down a trance record. It's just like it's awful, man. It's awful.
This is going to be the clip of this podcast.
It's just it reminds me when I used to go raving, and then, you know, there was that room that literally was like the devil. Like, we would never go in there because every time I step in there, I'd feel like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Mind you, I was high as fuck, no doubt, but it would still make me feel a certain way. And I guess it stayed with me over the years, even though I haven't done, like, you know, hard drugs.
Yeah.
Well, mushrooms, but, you know, I don't consider that drugs. I don't consider drugs.
You're from LA. It's fine.
I'm saying, you know, whatever. Well, the trance room was always making me feel like, ugh, what the fuck is that? And I go back in the fucking, like, hardcore acid core room, or like, you know, the fucking Gabba. Like,
Gabba's fucking terrible.
I love Gabba. I used to, not anymore, but
I fucking
love it in the idea of what it is, but I don't listen to that.
Lil Texas is the king of Gabba, and I love Lil Texas.
Oh my god!
What?
It's Thunder. I haven't heard Thunder in LA in a million years. That fucking bomb exploded like next to my house. But anyway, Lil Texas, but man, he's dope.
He's a G. I love him so much.
He's dope.
I've told this story so many times, but I was at a wedding and he was there.
Yeah.
And it was a fancy dress wedding, and he was dressed up as Lil Texas. I didn't know him as Lil Texas then. I was just like, okay, we're in Austin. I was like, yeah, it makes sense. He's just trying to be a cowboy.
Yeah.
And then I found out who he was.
What were you dressed as?
Peaky Blinders.
Did you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hat and everything.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the last season yet.
Oh, mate, it's so good.
I know. You know, it's I don't know what. Is it the last season? Is it one more after that?
It's the last season, but I think they're doing a long form.
Oh, okay.
So they're doing like a film. afterwards, I think.
A lot of them are doing that now. There's a show I was going to tell you to watch, and I forgot now. But anyway, I need to watch that season. And I always feel when it comes to things like, I'm so fucking weird, man. When there's shows, when I really, really, really love them, it happens like I don't watch the last episode.
Why?
I don't.
Because you don't want it to end.
Yeah, I don't want it to end.
That's so weird.
It's so weird. It's the same thing with Peaky Blinders. I know it's there. It's in my list, and I'm not watching it. And I'm like, fuck.
I can relate to that about Chef's Table. I'd wait to watch a new series of Chef's Table.
Is that the best cooking show?
One, hands down.
Okay, because I'm watching a terrible one right now, and I need to.
What's it called?
It's the Gordon Ramsay one.
It's awful. Chef's Table. You'll love Chef's Table because there's actually a French one. There's a Chef's Table France.
Yeah.
But it's not about. Sorry.
What are you trying to say?
Well, it's all in French. Like
it's
all in French, so you'll be able to understand it. But if whatever you just said, terrasse. But like the way they shoot it, it's not a competition. It's just a way to kind of. Do you need to answer your text?
No. Oh shit.
No, it was the way it's shot is just so beautiful. And the way it's about. Yeah, just watch it. It's my favorite. Yeah. It's my favorite show, man.
Yeah. No, I love it. I watched the one. There's a fun one. It's the one with the platform that goes up and down. You've seen that one?
Probably.
You would know. It's like
See, that's like a cooking competition show.
It's a cooking game show. Yeah.
Like Chef's Table is not. Can you remember the Resident Advisors, the behind the beats, where like they'd follow artists and it would be just kind of about their life, and it would. Oh man, those were amazing Resident Advisor shows.
Yeah.
At the beginning of my career, I watched the Martinez Brothers one over and over again. And it was just like shot really artistically and really like cool. And the story behind it was amazing and all of that. And yeah, the Chef's Table is the same. It's not a competition. It's not about anything apart from the art of the chef.
Yeah.
And the way.
What is it on? In America?
Netflix.
Oh, dope. Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't know. I wish there was more of that type of shows on other things because it's just amazing. Like, the way the person shoots it is just so artistical. And the music behind, I think it's Max Richner that does the music for it as well, who's like one of my favorite composers as well. And but yeah, they've just brought a pizza one out, so it's like I think it's like 6 episodes of just talking about pizza chefs.
Oh yeah,
and then the first episode is in a pizza place in Arizona, and I was there like 2 months ago, and it's just like I think because you can go to these restaurants. And you can like actually see the people. Like we went to, Ivan Ramen in New York.
Yeah,
he's got one on Chef's Table.
Sick.
And like he's sat there in the corner, and it might be because I absolutely love food and I like idolize chefs and things like that. But like I remember going to Ivan Ramen by myself, and Ivan Orkin was in the corner, and I was too scared to go and say hi to him.
Say what's up. Yeah, we talked about this before.
And it's just like
I'm as bad as you. I don't get starstruck, but I also get really shy. Like, and it's someone massive could step in the room and I'd be like, "What's up?" Like, hi, But and on occasion, would I get up and I told you I was on the plane recently with the Bill Burr.
Yeah, it's mad.
And it was just behind me. And
Yeah.
I was just like, I was shitting it, man. I was shitting it. I was just like, I really want to say hi, which is such a weird, I really wanted him to know how much I love this particular show of his or whatever, or just to say hello and take a picture like a fucking fan.
Yeah.
I didn't. I just shitting it, you know. And he was super cool, you know. And I'm sure that chef would have been super cool. Otherwise,
100%.
he wouldn't be in the corner.
100%.
He wouldn't be there. He wouldn't be there, you know, in his restaurant. You know, he's not gonna be like, fuck off.
Yeah,
like, imagine. Like, it would make sense. Nah, man, it's
what is that? What's that about?
Which part?
Why where does that come from?
Insecurities, man. Rejection.
Circle.
Rejection. It's just like that person's gonna be like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like damn, like, but realistically, you have one chance out of 100 that person's gonna say that. That's gonna tell you to fuck off. Like, you got 99% chances like that they're gonna be cool, or at the very least be like, hi, you know, they might not be in the best of moods, but they're still gonna acknowledge you, which is enough.
Yeah.
I know to my tiniest level, when, you know, I'm at a festival, I just played or whatever, you know, you see some fans, and, you know, some of them maybe will come. We were together the last, you played downtown, right?
Yeah.
And we're together, and then in a way, you're more recognizable, and, you know, than me in that sense. But you know, I know it's a fucking nightmare to walk around with you at shows. It's like, you know, you get stopped every fucking step.
I just need to shave the beard.
I think about that often, maybe too often. and then like, you know, when the fans come to me and they're like, let me take a picture, I'm always 1,000,000% like, dude,
of course.
Fuck, yes.
Yeah.
Do it. And, you know, they're like, oh, we didn't know if, you know, we should, you know, and then I'm like, I relate, because I'm the same, like 100%. When there's someone else I want to take a picture with or say hello to, and I'm thinking, well, if they're like me, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, of course, let's do it. But you just never know. It's also, sorry, just to finalize that, it's also respect of space.
Totally. Yeah.
Right? It's like Bill Burr on that plane. Like, I told you when I was telling you, I go up and I was like, should I do it? And as we, you know, we landed, and I was like, in my head, I'm going to do it. Should I do it? And I'm going to do it. And we stood up. You know, 12 people just went on him. Like, oh, Bill Burr. And I was just like, shit, like, that space, you know, that's his own space. And people just don't really respect that.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, you're Bill Burr, you belong to us. You know, in that sense. But if it was only one person, but I would have been part of that, whether you're one person or not. It gets deep whether you should do it or not. Should you just let the people have, you know, that person have their own space? They might not want to fucking say hello to you today. They just landed, they want to get their shit and go
see their family. Yeah. I think that's also the thing, is I listened to a Rogan podcast, and they talk about it quite a lot when, like, they're with their families or they're having dinner, or there's like a time and a place. And I think, like,
of course, if you're with your family, there's no fucking chance I'm going to come to you. There's no chance. You with your kids.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Like,
But I think that's the thing, is some people are such fans that they have to. And I think all boundaries kind of step out of that, which I guess I don't agree with, but I also understand to a certain extent. Like, look at, like, have you seen the Billie Eilish documentary on Apple?
No.
It's really interesting, and she's like the biggest Justin Bieber fan. And
I've seen this.
And, like, man, it made me cry fucking bad. But, like, the first time she actually ever met Justin Bieber was, like, just after she headlined Coachella.
Yeah.
And, like, we don't realize the impact that he had on her life, right? And I think that's the same with everybody. Like, we don't know, like, let's use Bill Burr for example, right? We don't know what impact he had on somebody's life.
Yeah.
They have to go up and say something. They have to, no matter what. Like, it could be the end of the world. The plane could be fucking falling down. They have to.
Yeah.
And it's I guess it's just interesting how everyone's different. But like seeing that Billie Eilish documentary, I was like, I get it now, because like if there wasn't Justin Bieber, we wouldn't have a Billie Eilish.
Yeah. Well, it would be a different version.
A very different version.
Yeah, it'd be a different version. But I think, fucking hell, it's raining. Oh my God. It's so weird.
Mate, you need to go out. You need to go outside. It never happens.
No. Okay. It's raining. But I still feel like a lot of us, all of us, we all need to learn about boundaries. Boundaries is everything. Boundaries. And it's hard because your boundaries are not my boundaries.
Yeah.
They're not clear. It's all very transparent. So, but you know, whether it's like to go and say hi to your favorite artist or anything else, it's just like we have not been taught growing up about boundaries. You know, sure, people, some lucky ones have been taught some boundaries, and I mean healthy ones. And again, whatever the fuck that means, you know, what is the, you know, it's going to be different for each person. But, you know, it's just like you DJing. You know, my favorite time of DJing is when I used to have my other project. Like, I'd often have 20, 30 people on stage, literally on my shoulders. Like, you know, like I loved that, you know, but then you would go up. You know, you just came back from Australia. Australia was the worst, the absolute worst when it came to boundaries. Like, the amount of shows I did in Australia where like some random dude will just either sneak on stage and try to touch the turntable, or, you know, be in my face and be like, you know, trying to fake air DJ, shit like that. These are the like boundaries. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's different. You are now in the disrespectful side of, like, you know, even if you're obviously these guys, they're not fans. You're just like, you know, whatever. And it's just, I think it's important just to, you know, to have some boundaries. Like, we could go forever on that, and there's more examples. But
it's also really interesting though, because we're asking people to have boundaries in situations where they're off their tits all the time. Yeah. So it's also like those boundaries. I don't know. Like, I haven't been drunk in a very long time, but your boundaries do go out the window, but you still know right and wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
It's you can't really compare, but a good example is just like, okay, you're drunk as fuck, and that's your excuse.
Yeah.
You're on a plane. Are you gonna, you know, go all the way to the pilot and be like, bro, yo, left, right, yo, hey, oh, in their face while they're fucking like, you know, you're gonna be like, you know, but so that job is, you know, is more, I have to respect that job more than that. I mean, surely yes. Yeah, I would say yes. Surely respect the pilot more than the DJ, no doubt. But you know, it's tough, man. But it's good to, I think it's good to think about these things. And I'll be honest, like in America, I've been really impressed most of the time. When I moved to America, like, I came from like the UK scene where it's like, it was, you know, more elbows and it's just darker, you know, no fluff. And
well, I think even like, just for people to kind of get a correlation of that, everyone's talking about it, but like, look at the Fred Again Boiler Room set. Like, that for me is like UK and like on a tame level. Yeah.
No, that's that. But I mean, I have been to, for years, going to some raves, depending on the types of music too. I think. You go to a drum and bass night, you get to an early dubstep night, you get the vibes are different.
Yeah.
It's just like you're only here to dance, and you're only here to get fucked up, and you're not here to make friends, and you're not, there's this, you already have your crew, and that's it. It's kind of very like limited in that sense. And then I arrived here, and everything was, when I arrived here, it was like candy, and people were peace and this and that. And at first I thought it was absolutely cheesy. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Originally. And then it grew on me and really tilted the whole thing on the other side for me, where I'm like, do you know what? When I go at a festival, I'd much rather have that. I love the,
camaraderie.
Maybe everyone's fucked up and they love each other because they're fucked up or not. But there is like, the word is out there that this is what it's for.
Yeah.
And I really love that, but I do miss the mud and stuff like that.
The whole candy thing, I just can't get my head around.
I think it's almost, it's gone and a lot.
Nope. Got done. I got done the other day.
Yeah. No, I still get it every now and then. A lot less than it used to be. A lot less than it used to be.
I'm always like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. It's, I can never remember, but it's the plur thing, right?
Yeah, it's peace. I don't know.
Yeah, plur. It stands for something.
Peace, love, unity, and something else, and respect.
Yeah. Peace, love. There you go. Yeah,
it's cool. Like the concept's cool, but like
this is what we need though. These are the real things we need. Yeah. Well, and then it's like that. And then the thing. All I can do is this.
Or that one.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Like I agree. It's I think the first raves that I went to was all drum and bass parties, because that's what all my mates would listen to growing up. And they were definitely different times.
Oh hell yeah, man!
But I also, America's just different. Everywhere's different. Like South America is different to America. Ibiza's different to everywhere's different.
Yeah, it's different vibes.
Yeah, it's weird.
I think it also depends on the music.
Yeah,
it really does. It really, really does. Like, I feel you see some footage from the 80s, like the disco nights and stuff like that. People were having a fucking blast.
Yeah, I wish it was like that now.
Yeah,
I wish it was.
Yeah, but you had to. But it's the same thing though. People wanted to look their best, dance their best, listen to the best music. I guess it's kind of the same today too. They want, maybe we don't like the same clothing, or maybe we do, it's completely, but people want to dress the way they want.
Well, I think like sexualization, let's be honest, like, gonna be real here, like I don't know, maybe I shouldn't speak for most people, but like going out to a party, you're trying to impress everybody around you, right? Yeah. And I don't mean that like directly, but like you want to look your best.
Yeah.
And you have your own intentions why you want to look your best, whether that's to make yourself feel better, or whether that's to get attention from guys or girls, like whatever that is. But fashion back then, you wore different things to get that attention compared to now. It's you wear different things, or you wear less. Like,
yeah, but that's the difference as well. Like what I do love about America compared to France or even the UK. Like, I don't know how it is in the UK today, because, but a girl here at a festival, or, anybody could just be like pretty much topless if they want to. And it's not going to be sexualized like it is in France, or like it would be in the UK.
I don't think it's like that in the UK.
It's not?
Nah.
So you can just be topless at a show and it'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's less sexualized in the UK than it is in America.
Really?
Personally, yeah. I personally think UK is more sex friendly than America.
Okay.
I feel like as Yeah, that's my views.
Yeah,
I feel like we talk about sex openly more. I feel like we maybe, I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I'm talking about a festival.
Yeah.
So, not outside of the music. Like I mean, like
I think festivals is about the same.
Because I tell you what, in France, like maybe it's changed, but holy shit, you could not have a girl. I mentioned just that in particular. You couldn't have a girl being topless and just be in the festival. She'll be harassed like straight away.
Yeah, from what I've seen this year in festivals, it's very similar to America with what people are wearing.
So, I mean, I think people should wear what the fuck they want.
I think that's the whole point of the culture for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it gets lost a little bit, and I struggle with that. Well, like you've got the same. God knows how many female friends go to a club and don't actually want to go to the club because they get fucking touched up by dudes left, right, and center.
That's right.
And it's just fucking gross. And
what is that fucking festival? Fucking the Netflix documentary.
Our brains today.
Yeah, pretty bad. But
Woodstock '99.
Woodstock '99. Yeah. Have you watched that?
Or '96? Yeah, it's fucking gross.
On all sorts of levels, but there's that scene where the girl's topless and there's so much. It's dark. Dark.
Yeah, I really struggle with things like that. With watching stuff like that, I generally turn it off. Like anything, like the Michael Jackson documentary, I couldn't watch all of it. I was like, I know that he's a fucking gross guy. Let's not listen. The same with the Jimmy Savile stuff. I watched about half an hour of it. I was like, I can't do it anymore. Just like, I just think it's like, especially in the culture that in the dance electronic music culture, like I can't really speak for any other genres because I've not been part of them, but like the whole point of it is to escape reality for me, and it's to be able to give people the like safetiness to be themselves, of who they want to be and who they can't be in everyday life.
Yeah.
And I think when somebody wants to dress up, wants to wear whatever, wants to be whoever they want to be, and then by them doing that, it gets sexualized, or somebody feels like they can touch somebody just because they are not wearing it. It just fucking grosses me out, if I'm honest. It's like I don't get it.
Well, it's upbringing, it's communication, it's like this absolute not fucking excuses, but it's like we wherever we are at today, we got to keep communicating. As soon as like you're 4 years old or 3 or whatever, like you start to understand something, like your family needs to tell you how it is.
But I think your friends need to tell you as well. Like
friends too, but you choose your friends, and you don't always choose your friends in that sense. But I mean, like, you're often could end up in a group of friends that are not the best group, and you're going to do the same shit, even though you don't maybe deep down want to do things, and you end up doing it. Again, not an excuse, but I think it's all communication, learning, and also just like at school, like you need to learn at school, like, and maybe you do today. I don't know, but like definitely when I was at school, no, like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, like you don't learn like respect, in that, again, space, like boundaries, all that stuff you don't learn. Like you have no fucking idea. And depending how it is at home, I grew up in an environment, like old school environment, it's old school, everything's old school. So it's just kind of like, you don't communicate, male dominated and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's just kind of like, there's got to come out of that. And I think the kids today needs to learn as soon as possible that this is how it goes and this is how respect works and boundaries and all that. And then as you grow up as an adult, and express yourself and call people out and, you know, all that stuff. You have to, like, if something happens to you in front of you, you can say, hey, you can't do that. That's just, you know, and then you share and you call someone out. And then as you become an adult, it's already like who you are now. Like you've learned from the get-go, the seed's been planted, you know, all these information, you have the tools. I always say that that's the difference. You either have the tools or you don't. Makes a huge difference, humongous difference.
But I also think, I agree with you to a certain extent, but I also think you still know what's right and wrong. Deep down inside.
No.
Yeah,
No, I don't agree. I don't agree. I think if you grew up in an environment where you saw something and you think, well, this is how it is, then, you know, moving on, you just do it. And this is just all you know. This is how it is. There's no, and yeah, you're going to have that one person that's going to maybe feel, you know what, like, that doesn't feel right, you know? And some are just going to fucking just do it because that's all they know, you know? And that is not an excuse. That is as fucked up that whether you know or you don't, you should know, and you're old enough now to fucking know this is wrong.
Well, it's also when you're an adult, you're old enough to go find out. And I feel like if you're blinkered, and this may just be me kind of, I don't know what it is I'm doing, but like, I feel like there comes a point when, as an adult, you know what's right and wrong. And you should know what's right and wrong. And if you don't, then
you should, but environments are very different for everybody. We don't all have the same environment.
I agree, but I'm kind of like generalizing. Let's just say we're talking about a club environment, right? Yeah. You're going like totally like cultures, countries, like everything's different how people are, right? Like what goes down in Spain won't go down in America. That's just a fact. Like just different cultures have different things. But like if you're in if you're in America and you go to a club and like I'm just struggling to even talk about it.
No, but you can talk about it, and I don't want to cut you off just a sec. But I think you're generalizing too much.
Yeah, maybe.
There's one thing I can't do is just like talk about America. I can't talk about America. You can't talk about America. It's just like I always have the same conversation with everybody about America. America is ginormous.
Yeah.
It's like us saying, "Oh, you know what goes down in Europe doesn't goes down in." There's too America. You know, all the states, all the people. What kind of club we're talking about? You know, why do people feel like they can go to a club and spike someone's drink?
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
They should know what's wrong and what's right. You should obviously know this is beyond wrong, but people still do it. Therefore, there is a disconnect to what's completely wrong and, you know, what you should not be doing, what you should be doing.
Yeah.
And so what's that disconnect? What lack of information, grew up in a certain environment, and you know, the list is long, but it's not about an excuse or not. Like, it's really moving forward how we're going to start from the get-go to learn and teach like the kids how it is to behave in, you know, in life. Like boundaries, respect, self-love, all that stuff, man. It's just like the basics that just really make the ginormous difference. If you learn self-love as a kid and you learn how to be kind to yourself, you're not going to come out as an adult and just be destroying people's life. You're just going to be kind to yourself. You're going to be kind to others. There's, you know, maybe there is one, like there's chemicals and other like illness that might just triggers other things, and, you know, we'll have one example. But the basics, we have not done that for the kids. We have not. Like only a certain amount of kids got the basics of like self-love, understanding boundaries and all that stuff.
It's strange that we don't do that.
We don't, because there's a lack of communication. It's a lack of transparency and in communication, and also I can only take my example. There was no communication in my family.
Yeah.
Right. And then I grew up, came out of that not knowing how to behave, like a lot of different sense of like towards myself alone, like the you know, understand, having the tools. I keep saying that. It's just like, it's so hard, man. It's so hard when you don't have the tools, but when you do, and you realize how easy it is, it's just, that's the beautiful, you know, the beauty of it. But I'm sure at school they do it now. They must have more, you know, whether you, not curriculums, but like section, you know, I'm sure they do it today. They must be like,
not enough, but I think generally in schools, like therapy and everything like that is just way more available in certain situations, which I think builds into that growing a better human being.
Yeah.
Which then realistically grows a better community and a healthier community.
100%. 100%. It's huge. It's huge. The impact of understanding yourself is just so huge. And I say that in the sense of like, not to sound like selfish, where it's just, oh, understand you and others. No, it's not that. You need to really, it's cheesy, but you do need to understand yourself before you can understand anyone else.
Yeah, because I guess then otherwise you're then projecting everything, all of your traumas from wherever in your life is all going to that other person.
1000%.
Whether that's a friendship, whether that's a relationship, whether that's your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever. Like management, agent, like everything. It all comes back round to every single relationship involved. It's tough.
It's hard, man. It's hard, and it's and we are lucky that we have some tools and we can
oh dude, I'm so lucky. Like I remember, like as a kid, like we would all have family dinner every night, like every single night of the week, and like it would be like that was our airing of what pissed us off in the day. Like if my sister fucking did my head in, if mum and dad annoyed me, like, or if I'm struggling with something at school, or I'm being bullied, or whatever. Like that was always done at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And like if we had like family issues, we'd all discuss it at the dinner table, and then when the dinner table was gone, we would have been laughing about it or crying about it by the end of it. And like I know I'm so lucky. It's
huge.
Yeah, I know I'm super lucky.
You either have that and you unpack every night, or you have the opposite where you can't say a word.
Yeah.
And you pack for decades. Like you pack and pack and pack and pack and pack. Like, you know, there's always really more or less two roads, like, of your decisions, right? It's just kind of like, you know, you got an example and then you take it with you. That's your new, you know, information, and you go out there. You're either going to do the same or you're just not. You're going to realize this is not what you're supposed to do. But sometimes when it's almost force fed on you, you are going to do the same thing, whether you don't even think anymore whether it's good or bad. You don't look at it like that. It's all you know, and that's what you do, you know. And naturally, sometimes you go the other way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I know, like, I'm like looking back, like there was a lot of things that I went the other way because I just didn't understand it. I just didn't understand. But it comes to communication and you know, that's priceless, man. If anything, that's all I would have wanted to have. like anything else. Like it's just, you know, it's okay. It's secondary. Just understanding things is just, you know, staying in the dark, not understanding what you do wrong or right is pretty like a dangerous place to be.
How do you implement that in your life now, though?
I mean, you know, I like to be kind to others.
But honestly, I've known you for fucking how long? I've known you for a long time now, and you've always been that kind person. Like, I don't think that's ever. That's not just came upon yourself.
No, it's not work. I don't think I'm kind by, you know, because I worked on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, like what like a lot of kids. When I was really younger, I got bullied by this one kid for 1 year or 2 years. I can't remember. And then came out of that, went to another school, blah, blah, blah. And I started to bully this kid that was smaller than me. That's like, and on the side of that, like I was always like I'm sure a kind kid and helped and held the door and help you with your baggages and and blah, 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 and you need help for this or whatever. But I still go to school and then, you know, if that kid was there and say a word that I didn't like and it triggered something in me, I'll bully him. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's because I've been bullied and because that's the information I took. And no one was like, yo, don't do that. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, how you can't treat people like that, so on and so forth. That's just, Today, obviously, I'm a fucking adult. I don't bully anybody. I haven't bullied anybody in fucking decades. Or maybe I have. I don't know. Maybe mentally I've bullied someone. Yeah. You know, I don't know. But today is just like, I really have like the third eye. The third eye is the most important thing to me. Is to be able to hear myself, not in an ego way, like, ooh, you know, you've just said that. It's more like, you've just said that. You know, when I say something, I try to hear what I just said. And then, or if I do something, I try to see how I've done it or what I've done. And if I catch myself say something that really may have hurt someone or, hey, sometimes you say shit and it's going to hurt you. And, well, I'm sorry. I still feel that way. Yeah, yeah. But because you heard that, I'm just going to be like, oh, you know, I didn't mean that. No. I can't people please all the time. It's just like, but to be able to see how you speak and what you do, that's ginormous because it's just like I would have zero ego to be like, I'm so sorry. Like I've said that and I was out of order and I've caught myself straight away and I really honestly didn't mean that and let me fix it. Same if I do something. And that's the difference, I think, today. It's just like just to be able to catch yourself. Just being more aware of who you are and what your actions can have on somebody else. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and I want people to, I mean, again, like I don't feel like, I always try to treat people well, you know. I always do. It's the most important thing. It hurts me when I see people not treating people well. And I don't mean like in a harsh way or at war. I mean in the simple day-to-day shit. Like, you know, I have some neighbors that, you know, I say hello to everybody. I love that shit. Like I say hello, like in the street. I'm like, I'm on the same, you know, you come this way, I go that way. Like, I know it's a bit weird, but I will acknowledge you. It's like, not weird. It's weird. It's weird in a big city, but no, in LA, trust me, it's weird. It's weird, yeah. People look at you and like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you saying hi? Also, don't get me wrong. If I'm on like Hollywood, I'm not gonna be a weirdo and say hello to every single person I cross. So I mean, but in my neighborhood, in my street, if we're gonna go like this, I'm gonna be hey, or I see the neighbor outside, I'll be like hello. You know, I'm like that neighbor. I'm that guy. Yeah, I love it, and trust me, 60%, maybe more, don't reply. During COVID, my mate and I used to train. We got like a reservoir near us, and we would train there every morning. Yeah, and we'd literally play the game of who's going to ignore us and who's not. Because it's just so funny when you like go out of your way to say hi to somebody and they just look at you and ignore you, and it's like, how? There's many reasons for that. Like, there's many reasons. How have you? Who's hurt you?
Like, come on, please.
Exactly. There's many reasons why someone might not reply.
And then some people are just rude cunts, and that is purely the
Some
only
people are
reason.
just rude, but then again, that's how you've been brought up.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like informations you got, like the tools you got. Like, did you get the tools to? One of the things I got lucky with is I got manners. Like my dad was like,
yeah,
manners, like it's everything, and not even in a harsh way. Just like that's who he was, and that's who he is. Like
traditional.
He will hold the door, say hello.
Yeah.
The basics stuff that just makes. Then from the basics, you do more. But one of the, one day I'm walking Dharma, and then I see this guy, and I say hello, and then he stopped, and he looked at me. He was older, and he was like, "Wow, like that is so like nice of you to say hello." And I was like, he was baffled because I guess maybe I was younger, and he never gets it. You know. I love it. I love saying hello. We had a quick chat. It was brilliant, but God, like there's so many of my neighbors I say, and I keep like. I see them all the time, and I'm like, hello, and it still don't say hello.
I do the same in Detroit, because back here in the UK, like I can't wait till you come here, but it's proper fucking country bumpkin shit. Like everyone knows everyone, and it's everyone's got webbed feet and are great swimmers. But it's and then I go to Detroit, and my street is like, I love my next door neighbor, guy called Donald. He's an absolute legend, and like he calls me up, and he's just super sad. But then there's other people on my street that like I've been there 5 years, and they're only just waving to me now, and it's like, fucking hell, son, this is taking time.
Yeah.
Which I get. I understand it. Like, and I understand Detroit as a city as well. Like, I haven't been through the harsh times of Detroit. Like, I would just got off the phone before with Chuck, who does all the Paxahau, and like we were talking about venues in Detroit and parties and stuff. And there's like the politics of Detroit is such an interesting city. It goes so deep, and it's understanding all of those little kind of things, and it's all from trauma.
Yeah.
It's all from some trauma that's happened years ago.
It is. It's deep. Yeah. We deep on that one, but probably won't. But it's complicated.
Very.
I came to a house in Detroit like last time, and I did say hello to your neighbors that didn't say hello back to me.
They're not gonna. Like, and I understand why. Like, we both know why, if you know what I mean. Like, it for the last 60 years, a white dude's not been in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And now there's a house of white people in their neighborhood. Like, there's a fucking lot to deal with. And
I mean, it's more complicated than that in that sense, but
of course it is. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
Yeah.
Really, it's like Detroit was redlined and still is.
Yeah. I think it's also like, some people just keep to themselves, no matter what, no matter who on the, like it doesn't matter, the color of your skin. It's just really, some people just stick, they're not going to say hello. That's it. Like they don't know who you are, and that's enough for them to not say hello back.
Yeah.
They're not opening that door, right? For whatever reason.
But it goes back to what you're saying. There has to be a reason for that. Because realistically,
reason at the origin of it, there is.
Because at the end of the day, we're all tribal, right? And we all like to be. If we go back years and years and years, there was probably all of us were in a tribe of maximum 100 people, right? And we were so used to being in that tribe, and we knew everybody, we knew everything, we knew what everyone's did. The minute another tribe came to us, we'd fuck them up.
Yeah.
Like, or one like that. And that's just how humans have evolved. And I guess it's the same situation. We're all the same.
Yeah.
But the fact is
it takes time. It just takes time.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, I told you when I moved here, like I went to both my neighbors, the basics. I went on both sides of my house. That's what I do wherever I move. I go on both sides, and unless there's one in the front, which I don't really have right now, and I go say hello. I'm this new energy that comes in your life now. You're gonna see me, right? Yeah. So hello. And one of my neighbors was super sweet. Boom, 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 boom. Hello. They even sent us food the next day. It was brilliant. And then the guy, the family, the dude on the left side, straight up said to me, word for word, "You keep to yourself, I keep to myself." That was within 30 seconds. I said, "Hello, my name's Mika." And he said, "Hello, my name is," "You keep to yourself, I keep to myself." I was like, "Oh, all right. But if you need anything from me, I'm here."
Hit me up.
And that was that for 9 months.
Yeah.
The other day, come out of my house, to do the trash, to bring the trash out. And he's just coming out of his car. And since then, I see him every now and then. And I always still wave. And he goes, like that with chin up, like, yeah, whatever. I was like, oh, cool.
The way you just rolled your eyes in was fucking perfect.
All right, cool. Like, you're a tough dude. I get it. And then he comes out of his car with his kid. And don't know why. But to be fair, every other day I go down the street, whether walking down or whatever, and I see his wife's outside, and I always wave, and she always waves. And, how have you been? And she's always been cool. So anyway, he comes out of the car, and he's like, we're like right here. And I'm like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" And he's like, "Hey, how you doing, man? How have you been? How's the house?" And he starts asking me all these questions. That's my kid. That's his name. And da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. And I was just like, dope. Like, it took you this long to realize I'm not a dickhead and I'm not going to be in your business and da-da-da-da. And then now you're just cool. And now when I see him, he's like, "How have you been, man? Yeah, cool, boom, that." But it took this long.
Takes time, man. Yeah.
Takes time. Some people just need time. Like they might need 9 months. They might need 5 years.
Yeah. And that's okay. And I think that's the thing. That's the thing.
The real thing is it shook me a little bit the very first time when it was like, whoa, I was like, damn, like you just moved here and you get that vibe.
Yeah.
But very quickly I was just like, that's just his life. That's what he does. That's just how it is. And I'll win him over. And then I did. And I was like, yeah.
That's my goal, is always to win people over.
Yeah.
And when you do when you crack them, that's the best feeling ever.
That's it. It is.
It's the best feeling. I love that.
It's amazing, man.
Dude, we've nearly done 2 hours.
I know. That's why I keep looking on the right. It's the time.
I know we could just keep going, but I think people are just going to get fed up.
It's a good amount for people to just not be like, what the fuck they're talking about.
These fucking hippies talking about their feelings.
Which is good. Look, I love that we've talked mostly outside of music. You know?
I didn't want to talk about music, really.
Yeah, it's good.
Like you've been on the podcast the most. You're the most on the podcast.
Next time, I'll be on the podcast under another name.
Just gonna drop that. I wish I had a Zane Lowe bomb.
I have a mask in.
You'll be talking in French.
Yeah, I'd be like, that changed my accent.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, you have the croissant. Let's talk about my music.
Next time. Love
but
you,
yeah,
dude.
I still invite. I'm gonna plug. I'm still inviting people to go and listen to Rose Riot, which is, I think, it's openly something really fun I've been working on. I know you haven't asked me, but I'm doing it.
It's fine. Crack on, mate.
Yeah, crack on. No, but that's the only thing, really. So if you listen, go and check Rose Riot.
You just did you didn't just, because when this comes out, it's in November, but in September, end of September, you did a live show in LA with Rose Riot. How was that?
That was amazing, and then it was the one of the scariest thing I've ever had to do, and I did it. And so Rose Riot is, for those who don't know, which is pretty much everybody, It's a side project of mine where I sing, and it's at this point really it's acoustic, electronic, whatever. But I write and sing in all songs, so it's not like club stuff at all. Yeah, we did this show, and I did only 3 songs, but it was incredible, and it was like I felt like the most naked I've ever felt. In front of a small crowd, and it went really, really well. And I'm extremely excited to do more of that.
Did it get recorded?
Yeah, that's the plan.
No, did that get recorded?
It got recorded, but that's not coming out.
Can I hear it though?
I can send you some images of it.
I don't want a fucking image.
No, I mean some videos of it.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna send you some JPEGs.
Some JPEGs of you fucking with a mic in your mouth. Like, come
JPEGs, bruh. No, but that's dope. And
they're not called JPEGs anymore. They're called NFTs. That's exactly what they are. Have you got any NFTs?
No, I'm not even, bro. I'm not talking about NFTs. I'm not. That shit is long. No. But anyway, that's that. That is that. Just go check it out.
Go check. Riot. So how are you spelling Rose Riot?
ROSE and then RYOT.
Boom.
Yeah, it is not. It's Riot with a Y. Couple of features and some tunes here and there. There's one on your label.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, go check it out. You know.
And what's going on with the Born Dirty stuff? What's coming out music wise?
Writing, just in the studio every day, just writing new music. I think we finally signed that Key to Me track.
Oh, cool. Who to?
I don't know if I can tell it yet.
Okay.
I don't know if I can. But it's collab between an American label and a UK label, which is cool.
Dope.
Yeah, so it's gonna get both sides.
That's amazing.
So that's good. And then I got this dope club banger with Wongo that I absolutely adore. And we're gonna put that out.
I haven't heard that.
It's called Crispy. I don't know if I sent it to you. I might have not. I don't know.
I was with him the other day.
Yeah, love him. I love him.
Even his haircut. Jesus Christ.
I love everything about him, man.
That haircut is just on another level.
Yeah.
He saw Michael Beebe and was like, I can beat that. That's what he did.
He did. Or he watched too much of Game of Thrones, one or the other. This is one or the other.
The thing that I love is that his wife actually loves it.
Yeah, of course. Dude, I get it. I get it. Because you know what? Because he owns it.
No, I think the reason why his wife likes it is because she knows that no other woman is ever going to find that attractive.
Oh, Wango. I absolutely love you, man. But yeah, that and a few more tunes. Basically, just been writing and just shopping at the moment, really. Like, there's 3 tracks going to come out. Obviously, some things on way. And yeah, that's basically it, really. Sick. You know, cool, some shows here and there. And, you know, we're living the good life. Just finished my studio. I'm absolutely fucking adoring it. You know, I fucking love it. It's incredible.
It looks great. I came in the other day, a couple of months ago, it sounded amazing, and you said you've done more work on it. So
yeah, it sounds much better. It's got pushed, got a bigger cloud above it. When you sit on the sofa now, it sounds like absolutely tight. Really? It sounds so good. So anyway, that's that. But yeah, that was the 10 minutes of plugging the music. But that's basically it.
Sick, man. Well, thanks for coming on. I love you lots.
Thanks for having me again.
I can't wait to see you. When am I see? I think. What are you doing New Year's?
See you New Year's Eve. At the moment, nothing.
Are you around Cali at the moment? Cool.
Probably, yeah. It's TBD. There's some talks for some shows, but not confirmed. So
we definitely have to plan something.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. I mean, it's not like I don't talk to you every day.
True.
That's just the podcast.
All right, mate. Love you, dude. See you in a bit.
Love you.
Peace.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Love everybody. Stay safe and love each other and use your tools.
Yeah, baby. And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed it. I loved it. Very not music focused, which was beautiful. I really like that conversation. Please hit subscribe. Please give us a little review. And yeah, till next time, people. Love you.